Bold takes.
If they don't make it to the finals, then this might be one of the biggest L's in NBA history.
Hot topics.
All right, well, I want to give you an apology. Tyrese Halliburton may have proved me wrong.
The best analysis.
But Jokic, he might be the best player in the league this season. He really might be the MVP.
This is the Full Court Report.
All right, and we're back.
Oh, yeah.
Toby interrupted the intro there. He added
My bad. I didn't know they could hear me.
His little ad lib.
Jokic might be the best player this year, though.
Well, you know, we'll talk about that probably next week. You know, the season is very, very much upon us. You know, we're in the thick of preseason right now. And but yeah, next week, you know, I'm sure we'll do who we think gonna win MVP, our championship picks, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, I'm sure Jokic will be in that discussion. You don't think so, Justin?
He won't be in my discussion.
Well, you're a hater.
I'm not a hater. I love myself some Jokic, but he's not winning MVP.
All right, we'll see. But before we talk some NBA, quickly, I just wanted to touch on the WNBA. I know we did a segment a couple episodes back, primarily talking about like some of the rookies and just what we thought of the season thus far. But the WNBA Finals is here, boys. Tonight, we're recording this on a Thursday, October 10th. Is Game 1 between the number 1 New York Liberty and the number 2 Minnesota Lynx. For those who aren't familiar with the WNBA playoffs, this will be a best of 5 series. So, you know, obviously in the NBA, all the rounds are best of 7. In the WNBA, the first round is best of 3, so a very short series, and then the next 2 are best of 5. I guess just given the amount of teams in the league, they don't do it, you know, Eastern versus Western Conference. They just kind of seed based on record. And it just so happens that this year Minnesota is going to face off against New York, you know, East versus West. But that's not always the case. But anyway, I just figured we'd touch on this really quickly. If you guys have any predictions for who you guys think is going to come out on top in the WNBA.
Sadly, the New York Liberty are associated with the Brooklyn Nets, but they're still New York, so let's go Liberty.
Gang, gang. You know, I was thinking about this. I thought, I really don't know. I was thinking the Minnesota Lynx, but I think the Liberty are going to pull it out. I think this is Sabrina's time to show that, you know, she's the best player in the WNBA. The best player. Said it.
I don't know about that one, Toby.
There was a couple games, I will say, against the Aces where she looked a little rocky. I think one of the games she only scored like 5 points. Obviously, it's not all about scoring, but it's New York. I can't go against it. I think the Liberty are going to take it all. Plus, they beat the Aces, so I'm without the Aces, we're going to bring it home this year.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting finals matchup, I guess. The Liberty, they've been to the finals a handful of times. This is, I believe, their 6th appearance in the WNBA Finals, but they've never won a championship. They are one of the original franchises in the WNBA, so they've been around for quite some time now, but they've never, you know, hoisted up that trophy and claimed the title of WNBA champion. But I don't know. I think they have a really good shot of doing it this year. Like you said, Toby, Sabrina Ionescu, she's been fantastic in the playoffs. I think she's been probably their best player. But they also have Brianna Stewart, who was the MVP last season. This year was Asia Wilson. But she's a two-time champion. She was a champion with the Seattle Storm. So she's kind of got that playoff experience. But they're going up against Minnesota, who, again, like I said, this was kind of an interesting finals matchup. Minnesota, I guess kind of unlike the Timberwolves in the NBA, they've actually had a very successful stint in the NBA or WNBA, excuse me. They got 4 titles. Their head coach, Cheryl Reeve, has been there for, I want to say, over 10 years now. And she's kind of really built, a dynasty in Minnesota. Maya Moore, back when she was still playing, was kind of like a big catalyst for all of those championships. But it's going to be a very interesting series. But I think I'm going to agree with the two of you guys. I'm going to pick New York. They got the home court advantage. And I feel like they just kind of have an edge this year. They did lose in the finals last season to the Aces, and they kind of got over that hump, like you mentioned, Toby, defeating them in the last round. But I don't know. It just feels like New York's year. And, yeah, it's going to be a very fun series, to say the least.
New York in 5. New York in 5. Also, I wanted to say this too. In the slimmest of chances, if the New York Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves face off in the finals, that would just be like a crazy, I think that would start a rivalry between the two states.
Yeah, I hope it does.
That would be sick. I think it's going to be New York Liberty in 5. I think Sabrina's going to bring home finals MVP. And yeah, and then they might repeat next year. So we'll see.
Wow.
Honestly, I think I might say that Stewie might win that Finals MVP. Just to disagree with you.
What's that lady on the links? Her name is Nafisa.
Yeah, Nafisa Collier.
Dude, she's nasty.
Yes, she was this year's Defensive Player of the Year, I believe, and she was also the runner-up for MVP behind Asia Wilson. But Asia Wilson was a unanimous MVP, so make that of what you will, But so, yeah, no, the Minnesota definitely has a lot of talent. They're not here just, by some, kind of whim or whatever. They have a very good team, very good coach. So it's definitely going to be a battle, to say the least. And I think you're right. I think it's going to go all 5 games, Toby. But I feel like New York, they have the advantage of being at home for a potential game 5, and I think that's really going to help them.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to the Barclays Center. The Barclays Center is going to be rocking more than any Brooklyn Nets game this year, I think.
I don't doubt that at all. Yeah. Yeah, are the Liberty the best team in New York?
I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe at this current moment in time.
Are we talking all sports, or are we just talking?
Yeah,
just talking basketball.
A lot of New York teams are doing things right now.
Yeah, baby, you love to see it. You love to see it.
Shout out to the New York Yankees.
Shout out to the Mets. Shout out to the Mets just for taking Phillies.
Yeah, again, it's not just the Yankees, it's the Mets.
A little Subway Series, World Series, baby.
The Knicks have obviously been in the news recently and are looking up for this season, so a lot to be excited about in New York right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun series, and it's gonna cap off what was maybe the best and biggest WNBA season to date. And I think, again, the W is on the way up. So tune in. Keep
up the good work, ladies. Keep up the good work. We love to see it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cool. Well, yeah, so like I mentioned before, we got the NBA preseason is now underway. What's crazy is that this time next week, like I mentioned, we're recording this on a Thursday. Next Thursday, we'll be 5 days away from the regular season, the start of the regular season. So, again, we're just inching closer and closer every time we put out one of these episodes. But we actually did get some basketball, whatever team you want to watch. Basically, you had an opportunity to, I think you mentioned the Trailblazers, for whatever reason, Justin haven't played yet, but
Yeah.
I think every other team has. But I don't know. Do you guys have any initial takeaways from this year or this preseason? Like, you can really discuss anything you want. I feel like the preseason is just really interesting, not so much to really get a feel of like what players are going to accomplish during the regular season, but just get an idea of like what coaches are thinking, like how they, do their rotations and lineups, and how they're getting guys involved on offense and where they're putting them on defense, stuff like that. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on the preseason.
I mean, I wrote down a few things. Jorie, you mentioned that we got a chance to watch all the teams play, which is kind of true. I didn't really get to watch the Nets play because they started at 10:30 against the Clippers, and old man Chris, I had to go to bed early, so it wasn't anything special to watch, anyways. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was the Warriors. I think that again, it's preseason, so you can't, look into it too much. But as far as hitting threes, I don't think they missed a stride. I think in that second game that they played, they hit like 28 threes, which is kind of like insane. Specifically, Buddy Hield off the bench. I think he went 6 for 7 from three. And I'm a big Buddy Hield fan. I think he's going to fit in really well with that team, especially with the absence of Clay. And Jonathan Kuminga too. I think he played really well. Again, it's just preseason, but I think if this tells us anything, like if this indicates anything about the season, I think the Warriors are going to be pretty good. And we talked about them, I think last week or the week before, whether they were going to get in the playoffs or not. So I think Steve Kerr coaching, I think the Warriors are going to be pretty good.
I have not seen any Warriors. I've obviously watched my Knicks. I've seen both of their games so far. And I just want to, yap a little bit about them. The interior defense stinks. The interior defense stinks. We need that guy Mitch back as soon as possible. Actually, no, that's not true. Let that guy sit until the playoffs. But we'll need that guy for the playoffs. My boy Tyler Kolek, I think is his first name. He is going to be the next Steve Nash. That guy is nice.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Relax.
Wow.
No, but in all reality, he's a pretty good facilitator for being a rookie. He was, when he was in charge of the ball, game was moving at his pace. You love to see stuff like that. The Knicks, Brunson's by no means is Brunson a bad point guard, but he likes to score it. He likes to shoot that thing. So I think this guy Tyler Kolek coming off the bench, if he comes off the bench, I don't know what the rotation is because, preseason, they just slap anybody in those games. If he can get some minutes, I think he'll take advantage of every opportunity he's given. But with that being said, I'm expecting a big year from Miles McBride, baby Deuce. I think he could be in contention for Sixth Man of the Year. I really do. I think he's going to have a great season. I think he's going to be our main guy for our bench unit. And yeah, but speaking of not really speaking of the Knicks, but a player who used to play for the Knicks, Dante DiVincenzo, the big ragu, he had a great game one of his preseason. I don't think he missed a shot. I don't know his exact stat line. This happened a couple days ago, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that he made every shot he put up. And he only played for the first quarter. They sat him the rest of the game. I don't know, who else was on the Timberwolves that they, wanted to check out, young guys or two-way players or anything like that. But I was watching the Magic and Spurs game last night. Somehow the Spurs pulled it out. They were down a little bit at halftime, and then I turned the game off to watch the Yankees. But I'm expecting big things from both of those teams. I don't know about this year because, everybody's still young, kind of still figuring everybody out. But I think next year, if they can keep most of the roster that they have, the Orlando Magic are going to be scary. Real scary.
Oh, yeah.
They're kind of scary last, so.
I'm talking like they might be a top 3 team in the whole league next year.
That's a bold statement. That's a
I don't know, man.
bold
That guy
statement.
Paolo Banchero, he's dirty. Jalen Suggs, I guess you could say I was a hater of Jalen Suggs. He was playing great. Um,
You were definitely a hater of Jalen Suggs, by the way.
yeah, probably was. But yeah, no, I like the Magic a lot. And the Spurs, dude, that guy Stephon Castle. I really like this guy. I really like this guy. I think the Spurs, if they, yeah, I don't really know how bad they're going to be this year. I don't know if they're a lottery team or if they're, top 10 pick or top 5 pick. But if they're, bad enough to get a good draft pick and they draft well, we might be seeing a little Tony Parker, Ginobili, Tim
Tim
Duncan
Duncan.
action.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
I mean, bro, Wemby is, I don't know, man.
Do you think Stephon Castle is that good? Like, I don't know. I mean, like
From what I
Wemby,
was,
you
from
know,
what I was watching last night, just based off that one game, he was probably the third best player on the floor behind Paolo and Wemby. And he
damn.
was playing a lot. He played most of that game, and he was playing
All
great.
right. No, I like Stephon Castle a lot, and he went to UConn, so I feel like a lot of guys that come from that program. I mean, they've kind of more recently have had a lot of success, but like coming from Dan Hurley, UConn, I feel like he's definitely going to be a player in the league for a while. So I like him a lot, and I like that Spurs team. But I wanted to talk about the Hawks because I feel like this is such a interesting team. I mean, speaking of rookies, they did have the number 1 pick this year, which a lot of people I feel like kind of have just dismissed almost entirely. Zachary Risache, I believe is how it's pronounced. He's 6'9", 200 pounds. He's 19 years old, and he's from France. So, I don't know. I mean, I was watching his game against the Indiana Pacers, and he didn't start. And I don't know if he's going to start this season for Atlanta, but I don't know. I feel like he has really good feel for the game, just in general. Like, I really had zero expectations for like what to expect when I watched him. Like, I don't really know much about him, like what he did overseas, but I feel like he can just do a lot of different things, especially offensively. He's like pushing the ball in transition a lot. I feel like he's a solid, like, kind of pick and roll ball handler at that size. Not like phenomenal or anything, but I feel like he can like kind of run offense in that sense a lot. And I feel like his shot is going to be pretty solid too. It's not like the prettiest thing in the world, but I feel like it's going to be pretty effective. He hit like some like kind of off the dribble threes in that game. He was spotting up as well. So like I feel like he's going to really just be a versatile offensive piece, I think, in general. Defensively, I guess I didn't really see much. I guess I got to keep looking, keep watching, but I don't know. And this year's draft was really weird. I feel like nobody really knows what to expect from any of these rookies, and I don't know. And I don't think anyone expected Atlanta to have the top pick either, because they were, they weren't great, but they weren't like the worst team in the league bad. So it's interesting that that's where he ended up. And I don't know, Atlanta in general. I mean, you have Trae Young still. Jalen Johnson, I really like. I'm not sure what year this is for him. It might be his 3rd season, but even coming out of Duke, I really liked him, and I feel like he's really finding his groove now, getting more comfortable on offense. And they got Dyson Daniels and Larry Nance from the Pelicans because they traded DeJounte Murray. So those, I really like Dyson Daniels. I think he's going to be a really valuable player for them this year, maybe like 6-man, because they still have Bogdanovich as well. So I don't know. They got an interesting team. I don't know if they're going to make any noise in the playoffs per se, but you never really know. This was the same team. I mean, they obviously have some new pieces, but it's interesting that this team, was in the conference finals, like 3 years ago? Essentially had, Trae Young, DeAndre Hunter. I think they still had Kevin Huerter at that time. But I feel like a lot of the pieces are kind of still there. They just got a little bit younger now. But we'll see. I think this team could be successful down the line if they all kind of continue to grow together.
Don't sleep on Johnson. I don't know if we talked about it, but he might be in the conversation for most improved player of the year.
Jalen Johnson?
Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I think he was last year, I think he struggled with some like injury things. But if he could stay fully healthy and, get plenty of minutes and stuff like that, I think that I have high expectations for the Hawks in the next like few years. This guy Justin's shaking his head, but
Well, the only reason I'm shaking my head is because one, they did the Knicks dirty back in 2020 or 2021, whenever that was. Did us dirty. That guy Trae Young really sunned us. But they are doing that guy Trae Young dirty. He has had zero help on that team, bro.
he's still young. I mean, how old is he?
Probably like 20. He's probably like our age, maybe a year older.
He is 26 currently.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Let's think about this. His best teammate to date, other than DeJounte Murray, which I don't really think that worked out too well, was probably John Collins. Like, he has had no help on that Hawks team.
He still took him pretty far though.
Yeah, he did. It was all him. It was all him.
But wait till Risa Shea. He's about to break
I
out.
hope he's good. I hope he's good.
I hope he's not.
I
Hope
mean,
he's not.
I don't know. I'm not, I don't really like Trae Young too much. I don't really like that guy, but I kind of do feel bad for him because this guy Luka gets, all the help in the world, and then Trae Young's just they don't really care. And it's Atlanta. It's not like nobody wants to go to Atlanta, bro. Like,
I mean, yeah, I think it's easy to compare those two,
well,
right? 'Cause
yeah,
they came in
yeah.
the same draft, but like, I don't know. I think, like Toby said, he's still pretty young, and like, it can really, in a matter of one off season, can have a completely new roster around Trae Young, and consider them one of the best teams in the league. So, not to say that that's what they want to do, kind of like trade for a superstar and make that. I feel like they just hold out, like develop these young guys, give them like a year or two. I feel like they could have a pretty solid team if they all stay together. That's, I think, the big thing is like, is Trae Young gonna get like antsy and be like, I'm ready to win, I want to play with someone else? If that's the case, that might not be good, but
I hope not.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, a couple other rookies that I wanted to talk about was Rob Dillingham. Justin, you said you watched the Timberwolves game, and I think that guy Dillingham scored like 22 points, 8 assists.
He was cooking.
He was efficient. He might be. I'm excited to watch him. He's definitely going to be in the Rookie of the Year conversation, I think. And he's going to be one of those players that has like an immediate impact, first year in the league. And I don't know if you guys caught any of the Lakers game, but Brandon Connect, he was looking pretty good.
Dalton Connect.
Oh, Dalton. I said Brandon. Yeah, he's another rookie that I think is going to have a high impact on the team. But Bronny James, he was looking a little iffy out there.
Yeah,
He wasn't looking that good. I don't know.
He made a nice defensive play. He had a little turnover, and then he got back, and I think he got a chase down block on the guy who stole it from him.
He had a few blocks. He had a few blocks in his second game or first game, I think. But he's played 30-something minutes. I think he's only scored one bucket. He's gonna need some G League time, I think, before he really figures himself out.
Yeah. But speaking of the Lakers, they stink. I think they stink. I think they're gonna be not good. But my boy Austin Reeves looks locked in, bro. He was balling. He was hooping. And I don't know if it was that same first game or if it was a little bit of that second game that I was watching. I can't even remember. But he was looking locked in, bro. Love myself some Austin Reeves.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to make of the Lakers. I feel like they're going to look a little different now with JJ Redick. But they'll be a fun team to watch. Obviously, LeBron, Bronny. But another game that I watched, and these two teams are very interesting to me for kind of different reasons, but I watched the Rockets and Thunder game. I feel like the Thunder, I mean, I'm sure, like we said, we'll do like our season preview stuff next week, but I feel like the Thunder are on the short list of teams I think can win an NBA championship this year. I feel like all off season, I was seeing a lot of like the depth charts or projected depth charts for the Thunder. A lot of people thought Isaiah Hartenstein, who they got in free agency, was going to start next to Chet. But in this game, they started SGA, Alex Caruso, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, and Chet. That was like their starting five. So a little smaller, but I feel like it works. And I think Chet, there are times where Chet has a little difficulty, I think, defending in the post, but he's not like a bad rim protector in any sense. So I feel like what you kind of gain offensively playing Chet, more of like a mobile stretch five, I feel like it's definitely worth, giving up whatever post touches against. In this case, it was like Alperen Şengün, right? Like, he's going to get the ball in the post every once in a while, but it's not like going to be a huge detriment to your defense if you have Chet out there playing center like all the time. But I feel like him and Isaiah Hartenstein are going to share the floor a lot this year, and I feel like that's going to be a really good defensive kind of front court. I think the Thunder's defense in general is going to be maybe the best in the league. They have so many pieces defensively, like I said, Caruso and Lou Dort. But, Jalen Williams is a good defender in my opinion. SGA is not like just some guy you blow by like all the time. Like I feel like he can compete defensively. So I don't know. The Thunder, I'm sure we're going to talk about the Thunder a lot this year just because they're going to be so good, but that was just kind of my initial takeaways. And then for the Rockets, I really like their team. In this game, they started Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Jabari Smith, and Şengün. I guess Fred VanVleet was injured, but they gave the start to Amen Thompson, which is kind of interesting. Like this is like a big lineup, and a good defensive lineup too. And I wouldn't be shocked if this is something that the Rockets use a lot during the season. But I got to watch Reed Shepherd for the first time in a Rockets uniform, which was really cool. I feel like he's going to be really good. Like, I didn't really know what to think of him coming out of college because he's a little small, but like he definitely looks small too, like on TV, just like out there on the floor, but like he doesn't really play small, I guess. Like I feel like he's really active. He moves, like he's very agile. Like he can move really well, like get around screens. Like he's not gonna get hung up very often. And then he had like two kind of like pull-up middies, whatever, which really looked like veteran moves. I don't know. And he's so young, so that was really impressive. So he's going to be in the conversation for Rookie of the Year, I think. Just depends on like how many minutes he can get on that team. But I think the Rockets are going to be a competitive team. I feel like if they stay healthy, and all the young guys kind of continue to grow, they could really compete for a spot in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of good things about Reed Shepherd. Just social media, whatever it is. I've been hearing a lot of people like this guy, a lot of people on the team, a lot of the fans, Rockets fans. It's been hearing a lot of good things. So I didn't know nothing about that guy, when he was in college. I'm not as big of a college hoops guy as you are, Jorie. So you're probably way more informed than I am, but I've been hearing a lot of good things.
Yeah, no, he looks like, I don't know. He just looks like really mature, I guess, is what I would say. Yeah, I feel like he's going to be solid. Like, I don't know what position I would say, probably point guard, but you can play him next to another point guard, and I think he'd be fine too. Kind of just being a knockdown shooter or like coming off screens, stuff like that. I feel like he's going to be able to do a lot of different things on offense. So, yeah, man. And I guess shout out to Jabari Smith. I don't know. I feel like he's kind of because he was in the same draft as Paolo and Chet. So right, like those are two guys who've already had a lot of success, but kind of feel like Jabari's kind of gotten forgotten a little bit.
He's flown under the radar a little bit.
But
Definitely.
I think he could have a really good season, and I think if he helps contribute to some wins, I feel like then he'll get some more recognition. But yeah, I really hope all their young guys have good seasons. Him, Jalen Green, Şengün. So,
I was
yeah.
super high on Jabari Smith. He's been kind of, I don't say disappointing because he's still so young, but I really hope he has a breakout season as well. Do you guys think that the Rockets? I guess I should ask this: who do you think will be better, the Rockets or the Spurs this year?
Rockets.
Yeah, I would probably, if I had to pick, I would say Houston. Unless Wemby literally has one of the best seasons, is competing for MVP type season. I don't know.
I don't know about MVP, but I think him with Chris Paul, I think the Spurs are going to be a lot better than people will expect. Definitely a lot better than they were last year. And
yeah, I wasn't expecting much until I was watching that preseason game, and whoever was one of the announcers, I can't even remember, but they called Popovich and Chris Paul two teachers, and it was like, this guy Chris Paul could probably retire tomorrow and be a head coach. Like all that basketball IQ and just, knowing how to win, that'll take them a long way, I think. That'll be more impactful than people think. Like even if they don't have the best roster, they'll be able to get the guys who, the role players, people who are just kind of there, playing basketball. Like they'll be able to get them to step up and do more than what, people think they're capable of.
I think he's gonna be DPOY.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think,
let's keep
in my opinion, I think the Spurs are going to be better than the Rockets.
I don't know about that one.
I think they have
Texas.
Yeah, that's crazy. And the Mavericks too. I mean, the Mavericks are definitely better than both those teams, but I think the Rockets are really good. I've always really liked Jalen Green. I guess I like Jabari Smith. Şengün's all right. I'm not a fan of Dylan Brooks. But
I love Dylan Brooks.
No. But no, yeah, I think the Rockets on paper, roster-wise, I think are significantly better than the Spurs, but hey man, the Spurs have arguably the greatest coach in NBA history, arguably top 5 point guard in NBA history. As much as I hate on Chris Paul, he's goated.
He's top. Yeah, he's top 5. Yeah, he's top 5. He might be 5. But he's top 5.
He might be 5, but he's up there.
I mean, regardless of the ranking, I'm excited for the Spurs. I feel like, I don't know, Wemby is just something else. I feel like he could make all NBA. I wouldn't be shocked. I feel like he's just already one of the best players in the league. And I know you guys are just mentioning Chris Paul, basketball IQ, he knows how to win. Same thing with Greg Popovich. I feel like Wemby, even in his rookie season, definitely had a different kind of competitive edge. I feel like he's also very smart. Obviously an incredible athlete and just a massive guy in general. That helps, but I feel like he's also very, wise beyond his years, I guess, in terms of his basketball knowledge. And I feel like he's ready to compete right now. So I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question, Toby.
Also, I think just due to the fact that the France came in second, and I forget what his quote was after the game, but he said something along the lines of I'm going to put the league on notice or something like that. Or he said the league should be scared of me. So, players, they're already afraid of him. Nobody wants to go into the paint with him.
Yeah, that quote you mentioned, he said, "I'm learning and I'm worried for the opponents in a couple of years." I'm worried for the opponents.
I love it.
mean, I don't know. He's probably right if I had to guess. But it's gonna be yeah, man, that's gonna be very fun to watch. The Spurs and I don't know. I think the better they get back into like that playoff mix, play-in mix, the the better, or the earlier they get into that playoff conversation, the better. I feel like Wemby's development will be very keen on playing in the playoffs early in his career and getting that experience. But yeah,
I think they're going to get it. I really do. I think they're going to be a playing team this year.
I can see that.
It wouldn't shock me. They definitely have some pieces, but again, I feel like it's going to be very incumbent on Wemby. But very fun, man. The preseason is fun to watch, but it's going to be even more fun when the regular season is here and things get serious. So, yeah, man, that's kind of my takeaways.
I just wanted to spin back on the OKC Thunder and Hartenstein real quick because I love that guy Hartenstein. One of the biggest rebounds in Knicks history, perhaps. In their first game against the Spurs, which they won, he only put up 4 points, but he had 8 rebounds and 7 assists. Now, if he could get his scoring numbers up a little bit, guy might be a little off-brand version of Domantas Sabonis over there in OKC. He probably won't average much more than 10 points per game, if that. But if he can consistently get close to double-digit rebounds and at least like 6 assists per game, they're going to be cooking over there in OKC. And, I was watching, I watched him on the Knicks plenty of times. He's a great passer. He's a great passer for a big.
Yeah, like when he's in like that high post,
Mm-hmm.
like he's very good at
Always
making
sees
those
the cutter.
decisions.
He
Yeah.
always sees the cutter.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, I think the Thunder are one of the very few teams, to me, that realistically have a chance of winning a title this year. And yeah, that team's gonna be very fun to watch all year. Yeah, you guys, I don't know, any other preseason teams you've seen, or I think Justin, you might have said you got some trivia.
Yeah, we'll hit some NBA trivia now. I gotta say, I've been real busy this week, so I picked out these questions literally right before we started recording.
Oh boy.
So some of these are pretty easy, but some of them are weird. These are weird questions. These are some weird questions. So let's just get right to it.
Do we want
First
to
question.
Do we want to
What?
make it like a scoring thing, a game out of this, like me versus Toby, or are we just guessing?
Yeah. You know what? We'll do I think Jorie went first last time. I can't really remember, but we'll let Toby go first. And if you can't get it, Toby, you got to give up. You got to say you give up and then give Jorie a chance. Then I get
All right,
it.
let's get it.
All right. So the first question, this one should be easy. Most NBA people who are not casuals would probably know this. So, what is the only 8th seeded team to make it to the finals? The only 8th seeded team in NBA history to make it to the finals. You don't have to say what year, you just got to say what team. If you give me a year, I'll give you a bonus point.
This is great. I feel like I know. So pressure's on.
Oh, how do you like that? Never mind. There are 2 teams, but I guess the website I picked is not updated. So
Yeah.
we'll say prior to last season, who was the only team?
The Warriors.
No. And you know what, Jorie? I'll give you as many bonus points as possible if you can tell me the year and what teams, if you can remember the one from last season.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, Toby gave the wrong answer, so forget that guy.
All right. 2023, the Miami Heat were
Yep.
an 8 seed. They lost to the Denver Nuggets. And in 1999, the New York Knicks.
Yes, sir. Jorie Mickens just got 4 points just like that off one question. Like
Yo.
that. All right. Next question. Jorie, you're up. This one, I would be surprised if you didn't know this. Who was the first player to win consecutive MVPs?
Oh. Really? Wait. Consecutive MVPs. Wow, wait. Wait, I'm afraid I'm gonna guess the wrong guy. Go wave.
I know it. I know it.
Consecutive MVPs. This is tough, but I'm just gonna go with my gut and say Michael Jordan.
Nope.
Yeah, I feel like that was like too. All right, whatever.
Toby?
you go. He doesn't know.
Can I ask a question?
What?
Can I ask a question?
Sure, but I'm not sure if I'll answer it.
Oh, here we go.
Is it Bill Russell?
Yes, it is Bill
All
Russell.
right. All right.
All right. Now this one, I don't think either one of you will get this. I don't think either one of you will get this, but I thought it was pretty interesting. Toby, you're up. Who was the first player? Who was credited to be the first player to rock a headband in the NBA? I don't think either one of you are getting this one. And I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint because this one's tough. He is more known to go by his nickname than his actual name.
Well, I don't know.
World be free.
Nope. It's not World Be Free.
Is it Allen Iverson?
No, sir. It was Nate Tiny Archibald was the first player to be credited wearing a headband in the NBA. Way back.
What year was that?
Beats me. But whenever he was playing, apparently he was the first player to wear a headband.
I'm calling Cap.
Hey, man, you know what? I'll tell you exactly what website I got it from. From parade.com/NBA basketball trivia.
Parade.wrong.
Yeah, for real. All right, Jorie, you're up now. Which current player has the highest 3-point percentage?
Like all time or just this season? Or like currently?
Or like their career, but it's only current players. It's only current players who are included in this.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Current player is the highest 3-point percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh. It's gonna be someone so random. Is it Kevin Love?
It is not. That was a very questionable guess, Jorie, I gotta say.
No. I mean,
Toby?
all right. Kevin Love is a sniper.
Yeah, but there's plenty of guys who are more sniper than that.
I don't know.
Here, you know what?
They're getting a lot of shots up.
But I'll tell you what, he shoots over 40%.
Oh yeah.
He shoots over 40%, which means
Yeah.
he's okay. Is he white?
He is.
Oh, what is this? Oh, but Kevin Love was questionable.
Kevin Love isn't like that. Kevin Love's not like that.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
I think Toby's about to snipe this one. I really do think Toby's about to snipe this pick.
Is it Bogdanovich?
No. It was Luke Kennard. I knew that.
Luke
Before
No,
I
you
Kennard.
even looked
didn't.
it
No,
up.
you didn't.
Yes, I did. It was Luke.
Shout out to Luke Kennard, though. That guy's a bucket.
Yeah, he's still young, I guess.
All right.
Fair enough.
We got 2 questions left, and this one I thought was hilarious. I thought this one was a hilarious question. Who is the player who had the quickest foul out in NBA history? And I'll tell you what, it was 3 minutes. He fouled out
3
3
minutes.
minutes of game time.
Huh.
And I gotta say, I don't know who this guy is. So good luck. Good
Oh,
luck.
jeez. All right. Well,
Bernie Johnson.
Ernie Johnson. Right.
No,
No.
Bernie. I said Bernie.
Well, no, and you're not even up, so -1 point.
yeah.
What?
I don't know. Reggie Williams.
No.
All right.
Here, you know what? Here, you know what? No, here. You know what? I'll let you get your guess, Toby. I'll let you get your guess.
Joe Smith.
No. If you guys want, I'll count down from 3. Whoever can look it up the fastest will get the point.
No.
All right. The answer was Bubba Wells. The guy fouled out in 3 minutes.
Bubba
Never heard of this
Wells.
guy, and I don't even know how that's possible. But I thought it was so funny, I had to put it in there. All right.
3 minutes and 43 seconds.
Yep.
Jesus.
Wow.
Now, this one, since it's the last question, whoever can shout it out first will get the win. Even though you're up by 3 points, Jorie, if Toby can
What?
pick this one, I'm going to give him the win.
Oh, I got this.
This one, it's a tough question, but I feel like if you're really a hoop head, you might know. When was the sport of basketball invented?
Oh, if I'm a
1891.
hoop head.
What?
1891.
Chris Tobias.
What?
What a snipe. With no time needed. He already knew. What up, guy?
That's crazy. All right.
yeah.
All
Well
right.
done,
Oh,
Toby.
yeah.
Well done,
I
Toby.
guess I'm not a real hoop head, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you're not.
Wow. James Naismith.
What up, guy?
Thank you for your
Go.
contribution to society.
Goat. Yeah, Toby, you know what? Well done.
You know,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was impressive. I'll give you that, Toby.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you the win. All right.
Nah, I should
well,
have got that first one, though. I'm pissed.
I
I lose just because of that. I should have. How did I? God.
that was, this little crazy NBA trivia. I'll come more prepared next time with some actually good questions that you guys will be able to answer.
no, that
That
was
Bubba
fun.
Wells one was wild. I
Yeah,
saw the
the more
video.
you
I've
know.
I've seen the YouTube clip of it, but
The more you know. Now we know. If it ever comes up again, we'll know. All right. Well, good stuff. Like I said, next week, I would say come prepared with some predictions.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Well, that's what we're going to be
I'm
doing.
excited for next week's episode.
And we're going to have to revisit, those predictions at the end of the season. Yeah, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. But any final thoughts before we sign off here?
Let's go Yankees. Let's go New York, baby. What up, New York sports? I gotta say, I've been hating on Daniel Jones. I'm pretty sure every Giants fan has been hating on Daniel Jones, but he's had a pretty solid season. He started off a little rough. He was having a pretty bad preseason, maybe a pretty
bum.
bad week 1. He's having a better season than Jalen Hurts, bozo.
Wow.
for now. For now.
Yeah, just wait until you get your all-pro receivers back, and you'll be back to normal. At least
Oh
you
yeah.
got all-pro receivers, pal.
The only thing I have to say is, Jorie, your background is wild right now.
What up, Mike? What up, Michael?
That guy looks like he's yelling right into your ear.
This was a great game. Not really, but it was hilarious. And then when this happened, I literally screenshotted it. I went back and found the highlight and screenshotted it because I knew I wanted to use it. Mike Malone. Have you ever seen a guy that mad?
I don't think so.
Tibbs
He
looks
was
like that every
pissed.
game. That guy Tibbs looks like that every game.
In the ref's face like this?
I
don't know.
That-
Dude, it was so funny. What a game. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, like I said, we'll be back next week with some predictions. But until then, we'll be seeing you.